G'day and welcome to another episode of Ian Smissen's Photography. Well, I'm here at Ricketts Point on Port Phillip Bay in the suburb of Beaumaris. It's a southeastern bayside suburb of Melbourne. I grew up here. I spent my childhood times playing, swimming, exploring the rocks and things around here. So it's a bit of a trip back to memory lane for me. I'll just give you a panoramic view. You get about a 270 degree view from this point as I'm looking north towards Black Rock at the moment, and I can spin around and look sort of northeast towards Mentone. So I'm just going to do a quick pan around here to show you. I'm sorry about the glare. The sun is about an hour and a half away from setting at the moment, so we'll get some shots of that later. But there's the point itself, and if I keep panning around, you can see the beach of Watkins Bay and my shadow, little selfie there, hello, and the beach that's generally colloquially known as Dalgety Road Beach, because obviously Dalgety Road runs into Beach Road just at the other end of that beach there. So I'm just trying to work out where sun is going to be setting tonight. I'm using the Photographer's Ephemeris app, and I'll show you that in a minute on the web version of it. Easier to show you that recording from a screen than it is to show you the app on my phone. But what that allows me to do is to set the point right on the location that I'm at the moment, and that will tell me where sunset will be and when it will be. Sunset tonight is at 8:36 p.m. That's just under 2 hours away, and it's indicating to me that it's going to set just out behind the rocky point here. If I move over to this area over here, and that will allow me to get some of these rocks in the foreground to add a bit of interest to the foreground of the shot as well. I'm not sure exactly where the water is going to go to. It's the tide was in high tide at about 2 hours ago, 2.5 hours ago here. So the tide is slowly receding, but it's very shallow here with some rock pools and some weed in shallow water. So that water might have completely moved out by the time sunset happens. So I'm just going to wait and see. But in the meantime, I think I've got an idea of where I want to shoot from, and so I'm going to just walk around and look for some compositions and plan a few points to shoot from, and I'll show you what I find when I get to them. So I'm just going to take you for a wander around the rocky shore here and get some different viewpoints and look for some compositions. One of the options that I'm looking for is because there's absolutely no clouds in the sky this evening at all. Sunsets are usually fairly boring, looking directly into the sun. So as you can see out here, there's not a lot to shoot other than where the sun's going to set. And yes, you get that coloured ball of the sun dropping into the sea, but often it's better to turn around and shoot away from the sunset. So I'm looking for some alternative places to shoot from, and somewhere around here might be useful. So particularly if I move just up here a little bit, I can get some views of the bay with the rocks in the foreground and this curve of the bay here. The wide angle view on the GoPro exaggerates the width of that, so that might need to be a panorama. It's always going to be a challenge to take a panorama looking directly away from the sun because you can see my shadow in there, but might wait until directly after sunset and often you get this sort of goldy coloured glow, or then later into the blue hour to take that panorama, but this might be one option. I'm just going to continue to walk around a bit further and show you the rest of this rocky point. When I was a child growing up here 50 or more years ago, this rock platform was covered in animal life. There were snails and crabs and all sorts of things in the crevices and the little rock pools, most of which is gone since then. There's still a few things around, and it's coming back thanks to the great work of one of my old high school teachers from Beaumaris High School at the time, Mr. Bob Whiteway, who's responsible for this area being created as a marine sanctuary. So thanks, Bob. Call out to you. Great job. And hopefully in generations to come, the life will come back to this area. At the moment it's mostly sort of bare rock, but you do get little rock pools with a few things in them still, but it's not quite like it was when I was a child. But this old signal point here, it's been here for longer than I have. As you can see, the rusting tripod on here and the old timber frame white painted signal point. It's been here for a long time, but that can make a quite a nice, even though human structure, quite a nice point, counterpoint to the sunset. So I'll try and find some spots to shoot that from. But once again, if I come back out here past it and look back towards the beach, careful not to trip over as I walk over these slippery algae covered rocks. But yeah, so something like that sort of a view. Before I move around a little bit further, it'll be a bit easier in a couple of hours to walk around here because the tide will have gone out a bit. But that sort of view might be quite useful, and again it could be a good panorama to shoot from over here all the way around here to make the point that this is a rocky point sticking out into the bay, and there's quite a wide view of two beaches, one either side of the point here. This is a good time also to mention that it's really useful if you can to get to a place early. So even though I know this place really well, I've been coming here all my life, the actual minute detail of viewpoints and so on doesn't necessarily come to mind straight away. So if you're planning on shooting at sunset, I always try and get there 2 hours beforehand, so that you can walk around, check out some compositions, look for some viewpoints, directions that you're going to shoot, choose which lens you might want to use and so on. And that way when the sun does set and the light changes so quickly that you're prepared and you're ready for the shots you want. Now, the test shot I've taken here shows me that those white panels are just too bright here for the rest of the exposure. So I'm going to bracket that and possibly HDR them later on in Lightroom. And that looks much better. Okay, last couple of shots for the night. Looking straight into the sun as it's setting. You can see here what I'm looking at through my viewfinder. Sun's just dropping in. I'm going to move just a little bit to the right after I take these shots and get the sun directly behind that signal point. Anyway, sun's dropping quickly, so I better grab some shots and I'll show them to you when I'm done. So it's just after sunset now, and this is what I'm looking at, and I'm going to take another couple of wide angle shots here and see what I can get, and then wait another sort of 10 or 15 minutes to see if that classic blue hour rainbow in the sky happens, where you get the reddy oranges on the horizon and then changing up through the yellows and greens into the blue and dark cobalt indigo blues higher up in the sky. So another 20 minutes maybe, and see what we get. Well, that sky is doing its thing, so I'm going to take a couple of panoramas, one which is going to take me a few minutes to expose with the 6-stop neutral density filter on, so I'll be shooting at f8 and 15 seconds at ISO 100, and then I'm going to take the neutral density filter off and get some shorter exposures, but just to compare what the 15-second exposure does with the about 1/4 of a second exposure, I think it'll be without that ND filter. So I'll give that a crack, and then after that I'm going to put the 14mm on and just take some shots as we go into the twilight. And hopefully we get a few stars coming out. We can already see Venus over there in the western sky, but hopefully a few stars come out, and we can get some astro landscape shots too. So thanks for watching, and I may well continue on with this video with the night shots, or I might do a separate video, but thanks for watching, and I look forward to another one soon.